Shout out to our sponsor, Blue Apron. Blue Apron delivers ready-to-cook meals right to your door with fresh, pre-portioned ingredients. They're treating our nobodies to $30 off of your first order when you visit blueapron.com/theknow, so just try it out. Free food is best food. Welcome to The Know, I'm Mica. We recently got an April launch date for God of War, but one of the other big exclusives for PS4 this year, Spider-Man, still hasn't been dated just yet. However, one retailer might have spilled the beans this week. Denmark retailer Coolshop posted and then removed the game as releasing on Friday, September 28th, 2018. Being a Friday, that makes the date a tad more specific than your typical placeholder date, and apparently Coolshop has been accurate about early release dates they've listed in the past as well. Considering Amazon correctly listed God of War's launch just before it was announced, yeah, anything's possible at this point. But we'll still keep our eyes out for the official word from Sony and Insomniac. The brains behind the Batman Arkham series are busy teasing whatever their next project is. Again, the team tweeted a look at a huge mocap space for the next game, along with a sizable mocap crew. On top of that, voice actor Troy Baker got in on the fun with some teasing tweets of his own, and damn it, we should have asked him when he was just wandering around the office here yesterday. This marks yet another tease from the studio in the last couple of months, which seems to be an indication that they're gearing up for an official announcement. And you know, we will keep you posted. EA's big Q3 earnings call went down yesterday, and with it came a whole lot of headlines about what to expect from the publisher in the coming months. There was a lot of interesting stuff about Battlefront 2 and loot boxes, more on that will be coming in a full story later, but one cool thing we did learn about EA's other big shooting franchise, Battlefield, is that the next game is confirmed for this October. It was pretty easy to guess that the franchise would make its return later this fall, but now it's nice to have something of a release window for it. At the moment, there's lots of speculation about the setting, with some of Eurogamer sources pointing towards a World War II setting, but we won't know more until more things are confirmed. EA also confirmed during the earnings call what most of us already knew thanks to a recent Kotaku report. Anthem is officially delayed to early 2019. They said part of the movement is to give the new IP plenty of room to breathe with Battlefield launching in the fall, which is when Anthem's release date was originally slotted for. Funny enough, EA CEO Andrew Wilson says that this delay isn't really a delay? Sure, buddy. He told investors, the first thing about Anthem is regardless of how it's portrayed, we are not looking at that as a delay in the game. We are really confident of its ship date. We are really excited by the way that next Battlefield is shaping up and it might set. It probably doesn't make sense to launch Anthem right up next to it. Hey, you know what? At least they learned their lesson after Titanfall, so round of applause. And lastly, from our big chunk of EA news, this next one should come as no surprise. The company is maybe thinking of jumping on the Battle Royale bandwagon. During the earnings call, CEO Wilson remarked about PUBG's global domination, saying, "What the team with PUBG have done is really delivered a new level of innovation that changed the way people were playing first-person shooter games, and we're very respectfully and complimentary of what they've been able to do. We've seen that continue with Fortnite. It's clearly a mode of play that the global FPS population is interested in, and given that we have some of the best shooters in the marketplace, you might expect that we're also thinking about new and innovative ways to play." Wilson also went on to add that this doesn't necessarily mean just ripping off the formula, but instead always trying to innovate in every title. Still, that totally means a Battlefield PUBG is on its way, right? Because that's just a logical step. So here's some interesting Doom and Wolfenstein trivia for you. According to one of the founders of id Software, BJ Blazkowicz from Wolfenstein is the ancestor of the famously unnamed Doom guy. This comes from Tom Hall, a co-founder of the studio, who was asked on Twitter about the character's lineage. A fan asked Hall, "There's a theory going around that Blazkowicz is Keen's father and Keen is Doom guy's father. I need confirmation from the legend himself." He's referring to Keen from the Commander Keen games, which was also developed by id. Hall responded, "The lineage isn't a theory. Fact. And I think you have one generation off there." So while Hall wasn't completely clear, it looks like that means that Blazkowicz is Doom Guy's great-great-grandfather, if our math is correct. So should we now refer to him as Doom Guy Blazkowicz? Because that's just too much, and I don't think that would fit on a name tag. Did a Nintendo/Valve collaboration almost happen? Well, several years ago, Gabe Newell apparently visited Japan and met with Nintendo bosses during the Wii era and talked about a possible project. That's according to Gray Newell, Gabe's son, who said that in addition to talking to either Nintendo president Satoru Iwata or Shigeru Miyamoto about a joint project, Gabe also played some Super Mario Galaxy with Miyamoto. I wonder who got to control the star pointer. I really hope it was Miyamoto. Apparently, nothing came of the talks, and Gabe's son described it as super casual, but it is an interesting what-if scenario. A dude is in jail for trying to play Breath of the Wild in real life. A 22-year-old Alaska man was charged with fourth-degree assault after hitting his roommate with a replica Zelda sword. Oh, and later attacking him with a kitchen knife. That part's not great. Zelda replica, that's kind of funny. Police said the roommate was hospitalized with a puncture wound to the ribs, while the suspect, Jeremy Tazrook, was arrested and was also charged with reckless endangerment. So yeah, good reminder, only use violence in video games, not in real life. Don't smack people with master swords, as silly as that may seem. Just don't do it. Also, don't stab people. It's bad. Kevin Feige says we may have to wait a while to see the X-Men and Fantastic Four in the MCU. Talking with Vulture, Marvel Studios head honcho said whatever deal is being worked out with Disney and Fox is above my pay grade, and he's focused on the slate they have announced through 2020 with no current plans to fold in the Marvel characters Fox owns. This sounds suspiciously like the way he was answering those Spider-Man questions around the time of Captain America Civil War was in production, so there's always a chance he's being a sneaky little Feige. However, this is a much more bigger and complicated deal. With Spider-Man, Marvel made a deal with Sony, who kept the character rights, but let Marvel Studios essentially have creative control with it. The Fox characters are a little more sticky because the merger between the two giant studios is likely going to need governmental oversight and approval. Still, it's hard to imagine that once it gets the green light, that Feige isn't going to start dropping everybody's favorite mutants into the MCU as soon as he possibly can. Mel Gibson's Beat Up Jesus is back, and this time he's going to hell. That's not a sentence I thought I'd be saying this morning. It's not news that Gibson has been kicking around a sequel idea to his wildly successful The Passion of the Christ, a film that was made for $30 million and grossed over $600 million worldwide. Way back in 2016, he revealed the title is Resurrection and will take place immediately after his death. And yes, we will see Jesus taking a trip to hell before his resurrection on earth and ascension into heaven. The news is that Jim Caviezel is likely to return as Jesus. The actor told USA Today that not only is he coming back to the role some 15 years later, but he thinks that it's going to be the biggest film in history. Caviezel also said that a shoot is being planned, but he would not divulge when. You know what? It turns out that most people don't want a $1,000 iPhone. Who knew? Despite all of the iPhone X's cool features like Face ID, a new OLED display, and fancier cameras, it looks like the price was just fucking too high for a lot of people. Apple says it's cutting down production of the premium phone after demand has been, weaker than expected. Apple now says it's going to make 20 million iPhone X's, 10s, in the first quarter of this year, about half of what it initially intended. Meanwhile, the company says it's not changing its production forecast for the iPhone 8, which probably means the demand was good for the iPhone 8. But yeah, I guess $1,000 is just stupid for a lot of people to pay for a phone. Just say. The Game Developers Conference says it's rethinking giving an award to the co-founder of Atari after there was outcry related to his alleged past treatment of women. Nolan Bushnell was scheduled to receive the Pioneer Award at the GDC in March for his contributions to the industry, but since then GDC has said it's reevaluating those plans. That's after many brought up his alleged history of sexist behavior. Some people pointed to his books about the history of the industry, where Bushnell is quoted as describing Atari as a frat house environment, and others have described the company board meetings that took place in hot tubs. Worcester Polytechnic Institute Assistant Professor Gillian Smith wrote on her Twitter, while other industries are distancing themselves from the abusive and sexist behaviors of powerful men, GDC is giving a Pioneer Award to one of them. A GDC spokeswoman told Glixel that the nominating committee was unaware of Bushnell's history and are looking at the decision more closely. So that is all the news we have for you today. Remember to favorite, like, subscribe, comment videos below for more news. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the know. Thanks to Blue Apron for sponsoring this update. February is just around the corner, so whether you're looking to impress that special someone with your cooking or you just want to learn a new skill and treat yourself, Blue Apron has got your covered. Blue Apron delivers step-by-step recipes and pre-portioned, ready-to-cook ingredients right to your door, and meals can be cooked in less than 45 minutes. They have new recipes every week, so you don't have to end up eating the same thing over and over again, and you can choose how frequently you want to receive meals, so if you've got a busy week, you don't need to stress about it. And as a bonus, for the next month, they've partnered with Whole30 to offer 2 Whole30 recipes each week, like chili and orange glazed chicken with roasted vegetables and garlic mashed potatoes, or pork chops and balsamic pear compote with fennel and sweet potatoes. Wow, that sounds yummy. And I don't know if you've tried Whole30 before. I did last year as kind of a, bad habit eating reset, and I actually enjoyed it, but it can be easy to fall into a rut, so having these kinds of recipes is a huge help. To get $30 off your first order, visit blueapron.com/theknow and get started.